Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Speed Force Racing for Season 19, Division 1, Round 5. And tonight we arrive at one of those iconic circuits in all of motorsports. Monza, the Temple of Speed, is nickname. And after chaos and drama we saw last round of the Hungarian Grand Prix, this is the circuit that flips everything on its head. Here it's all about straight line speed, slipstream battles, DRS games, and strategy, and who's brave enough on the brakes down into towards Turn 1, towards the first chicane. Last time in Hungary, we saw a huge first lap drama between Fireblaze, Arup, Kick making contact into towards Turn 1. Three cars tried to go through one corner, and Fireblaze was the one, unfortunately, coming off worse and dropping right to the back of the field. On front, though, it was Kick who delivered on debut and took the win. And whilst one of the drivers that came from the race was Nico, charging from last all the way to P3 and chasing down the leader late on before the tyre wear eventually caught up to him by doing the hard to medium strategy, where his medium compound tyres started to fade away in the last part of the race. But we now move on to Monza, a completely different challenge, a completely total different track in comparison towards Hungary. Low downforce setup means these cars will be absolute rockets down the straights, and races here are often decided by slipstream strategy and timing overtakes perfectly too. We've got two DRS zones around here, and Turn 1 is a huge hotspot, a huge breaker zone, a tight chicane, and if drivers get it wrong, then contact can be made, and lots of carnage could be involved indeed. But then you've got the second chicane where drivers attack the curves aggressively, and the powerball exit too, where have to be nice and tidy through there. But 18 minutes of this qualifying session, once again Nico Rosberg is decided to do last to first, so that's what he did last time at the Hungarian Grand Prix. But unfortunately for him, it did work in a way, but unfortunately not for him, because he wants to do last towards first place, but he did last to third because in the late stage of the race he was hunted down Kick, the race winner from Hungary last week. But unfortunately for him, his tyres eventually faded away by doing hard to medium strategy. That's the risk you take by doing hard to medium, because the medium compound tyres fade away so quickly as a delicate fragile tyre. The medium mid-range tyre, then the hard compound tyres are so durable, could go such a long way in a race. And Nico Rosberg unfortunately felt the tyre wear dropping off towards the end and got caught out by Moenimo, who started, I think, down in fourth place and finished in P2. It was McLaren 1-2, which was a good bunch of points for them as well, so that was very good. But Kick, I think, is he in the Williams tonight? Let's have a look. No, Ferrari. So Kick is in a Ferrari there, and we'll see how he does on his full-time debut. I hope so as well. So on board then with the Racing Bull and Red Bull of Fireblaze as he powers his way down towards Turn 1. Speeds about 350 kilometers an hour before we hit the brakes in towards Turn 1. A hard, heavy braking zone. It pauses to screw off all the speed because Turn 1 and Turn 2, a tight chicane. You want to nail the exit as well without suffering with massive wheel spin. As we now come through Kerbergård, here we go. Fully flat out through here, but we can see some battles going on, like Sebastian Vettel versus Alonso back in 2011, I believe it is, but I think Vettel pushed Alonso off the track, or all the way around, I can't exactly remember. Here we're coming through the second chicane, and Fireblaze absolutely botched it. That second chicane, you've got to be precise, neat, and so accurate as well, but unfortunately for Fireblaze, he messed it up going in towards the second chicane. It's such a nippy corner, it's so difficult as well. You got to be so precise and committed through there as well. You can't afford to hesitate. And even myself, I don't really like the second chicane because it's just so difficult. You got to be so accurate in terms of curves as well, because if you take too much curve or less of it, you don't get the best one out of there too. And sometimes your car can end up in the gravel, as we've seen many people do in the past when they take too much curve on the inside of both corners. Now, as Jurgen sets in 18.632 in the Kick Sauber. We're about to watch Fireblaze coming around the final corner now to see what the Dutchman could do. He'd be looking for revenge after what happened at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Here comes the Dutchman across the line, an 18.5, so not much separated from Jurgen and Fireblaze in first and second place. Only a tenth of a second between those two, but so far it is Fireblaze who currently occupies first place, as more drivers will come across the line to set their lap times. Moenimo is coming around the final corner right now in the McLaren, and we see what the McLaren driver could do. Took one win last season. It's an 18.2, which is a very handy lap time indeed. I think the timing, the main target is a 17, I think. And look at these two Mercedes boys giving each other slipstream. They're working so well together this season, like they are every single race. But here comes Dylan Vince, the Belgium driver, out the final corner. He goes then. Let's see what he could do. Dylan Vince did particularly have a good race back at the Hungarian Grand Prix. He goes up into P3 and an 18.5 as well, and a slipstream given towards his teammates who paid the favour, as we see Veloce Jr. powered down it towards turn number 1. But he's quite low in the ERS. So I think he made a mistake on his first lap, I think, because you wouldn't really waste a set of tyres, would you? As we see we see the new driver of OWR, Kurtz, go up into P2. I apologise if I said your name wrong. I know I said your name wrong, but my English tongue cannot pronounce the name properly, so I do apologise. Probably pronounced differently than I said it. But he goes up into P2 at 18.3. We haven't seen an OWR driver for such a long time. He used to be surrounded by Norwegian drivers all the time. But unfortunately this season we haven't really had many. Here comes the Division 2 driver of Matty, who locks up going towards Tier 1. Decent results back in Division 2 and also Division 1 as well. As Daniel says, good evening. Good evening, mate. How are you doing? Nice to see you in the chat. But Matty, a Division 2 driver who has scored points as well. I think he's 9th in the championship in Division 2 and also races in Division 1 as well. So he does participate in both categories as well. And he does quite well in Division 1 because I know it's a struggle for moving from Div 2 to Div 1 where the drivers are much more, I must say, faster, but in my honest opinion. But he's doing a really good job so far. I've seen him pick up some decent results before in the past as well. DNS back in Baku, but Austria and Hungary was quite strong. I think he finished 7th or 8th back in Austria, maybe higher, because he has had some consistent results, has the Williams driver. As Kick goes up towards first place, it's an 18.132 for Kick, and he currently occupies first place by a tenth of a second. Nico Rassenberg says, good, hi man, I hope you are good. Yes, I'm good, thank you mate, hopefully you are too, and good luck mate by doing the last to first strategy. It's going to be quite difficult, you know, I must say. It was quite difficult back at the Hungarian Grand Prix, but here you got more chance to overtake. Yes, you may be stuck in the DRS train, but we'll see how Nico race his pace is in retaliation towards let's see how his pace is in terms of long distance. There we go. I finally said the words. I was mixing qualifying and the race together. But here comes Adams, a driver who never gives up and always drives no matter what, no matter how bad the situation is. He always appears. And he was a former Division 2 championship contender as well. A runner-up, it must be said, in P3. I think he's been a champion before as Adams in other divisions, but he does struggle a little bit around here in SFR Division 1 because I don't think he really likes the game that much either, and he's just a bit difficult in general. But Nico Rassenberg has spoken in the chat once again. Let me just read your comment, mate. Let me see what you just said. Yes, I am, thank you. Doing last to first for just fun, to be honest. I have tomorrow PSGL 5 and I had to practice for it today. And my plan is, this league is the last to first career, by the way. Well, good luck, Nico. It could be difficult for you, but I wish you the best, and we'll see how you do. I'm not doubting you. I think you're actually going to... But yeah, I've seen you do last to first plenty of times, especially last season as well. You outclassed the field. And Abu Dhabi was a shame because you liked out, but, well, it's a pleasure to watch you race as well. It reminds me of Volakongen, Oscar, the Zhizou boys, and Hazara. They used to do last to first. In fact, I think Volakongen and Oscar, last season or season 2, or last season or 2, they did last to first, Volakongen and Oscar, and Hazara too. They are very handy doing last to first, but they're not here, unfortunately. And I do miss them because they used to put on a performance to show. Volakongen and Oscar were going at it in season 17. They were side by side. They were going hammer and tongue, fighting for the lead of the Grand Prix. I think Oscar won ahead of Volakongen in season 17 before a parabolica. But here comes Joram, goes up into P4. That's a nice tidy lap time. I think Joram this season needs to find a build up here because he has been struggling. And Oscar is in Veloci. Oscar's in Veloci Academy. Big step up for him to get in their esports. Wow, the Norwegian driver up towards esports, and they're very impressed for him. He deserves it. And somebody who used to race it before has stepped up to the big game now, and I really wish the best for him as well. I think he's one of the best drivers on PlayStation in my honest opinion, and him along with Volakongen. So I wish those two the best. The two Norwegians who used to drive here, and this league about 1 or 2 seasons ago, or majority of the seasons, has been filled with Norwegians. About over 10 drivers in Division 1 were Norwegian, and in all honesty, I thought it was commentated for a Norwegian league, but it's pretty much mixed now. We've only got one Norwegian here, which is the man in P3. Let's see what Moenimo's doing in P2. I think he's going for another lap time there in the McLaren. He's headed down towards turn 1 and turn 2. Clipping the apex is very nice. To get back on the throttle, square the car up. You can see a little bit of rear movement at the exit of turn 2, but nothing major. Of course, I think every driver might suffer a little bit of wheel spin. It's all about breaking traction as quickly as you can to put the power down out of turn 2. Now coming towards the end of the first set, so let's see how he does here. Look at that, nice precision there from Moenimo, clipping the apexes in towards turn 4 and turn 5. Now coming to the first Lesmo, where we saw Lewis Hamilton crash there back in 2009 when Rubens Barrichello took his last win for Braun, I think it was. What a win for Barrichello too, because he did struggle against Jenson Button that season. Button scored the most wins. Barrichello scored 2. I think it was Valencia and Monza, if I remember correctly. But Barrichello, unfortunately, a second driver towards Jenson Button. And that's been Barrichello's story, hasn't it, in F1? It must be said. The Brazilian driver being second best to his teammates, even Nico Hulkenberg back in 2010. I think Hulkenberg outscored him in that year as well. Here comes Nemo out of the final corner. Let's see what the McLaren driver could do as he makes his way towards the line right now. Is this pole? The answer is yes. It's an 80.059. What a lap time there for Nemo, and sticks it on pole position. But I wonder, will that stick as his teammate goes P5? Bruss in the McLaren goes P5 in with an 80.4. 5 places next across the line. Look at that. 5 tenths up in the middle sector as the Dutchman now makes his way towards the line. Is this pole? Yes, it is. A 17.993. What a lap time for Fireplace. The first driver to dip in the 17s. And I wonder if anybody else out there can join him in that club. Kick is on a lap time too in the Ferrari. Last week's race winner in the Williams is now in the Ferrari, and we'll see what he could do as well in third place. And he's 0.67 down in the first sector is Kick as he now threads the needle through the second chicane. And about my name, you can say it how you want. The haters gave my name Burger. This is why I reacted like that last time. Well, it's an I know you don't like the name Burger, but it's my apologies about this terrible game. I am back in the session right now. But yeah, back to your point, Nico. And about my name, you can say it how you want. The haters gave me the name Burger. This is why we had to that last time. Well, it's not offensive. Or if you find it offensive, you find it offensive. It's just a joke, really, isn't it? Like, everybody has their own nickname, including me, which I'm not going to say out loud. But yeah, everybody's got their own nickname, and you should be offended by it. It's a funny name, and yeah, that's why you shouldn't be too hearted about it. It's hearted because it's nothing too serious. There's worse nicknames than that. But yeah, the reason why they call you Burger because the Berg at the end. But I know plenty of people that got called Berg, and they have that last name. But Kick goes quickest with a 17.7. The Ferrari driver here for the Tifosi is on an absolute flyer in this qualifying session, and he's taken pole position by 0.2 of a second with 5 lanes in P3. And the OWR driver, who is in the garage of Kurt in P2, Keat in P2, and he's doing a really good job so far. 17.927 as the Alfa Romeo. No, the Sauber, Kick Sauber, there we go. The Kick Sauber driver heads down in towards turn 1. Gags KK has also joined him in the reserve driver too in the Kick Sauber. Gags KK, I think he's a Division 2 driver or Division 3. I think he's in Division 3. But he's currently now in P10. So really good performance for him from the Kick Sauber driver there. As he sees his teammate go through Sector 1, it's going to be a 25.826 there for Gergely in the Kick Sauber. He has some decent results. We've seen him towards the top end of the field. Currently down in P12 of the championship, but he's only raced twice here. I think he finished outside the top 10 in Hungary, and he scored some decent points back at the Austrian Grand Prix. 30 points for him in Austria. We've seen him twice this season, and so far doing a good job. So let's see how his performance does to here tonight as well. As we've seen Gags KK race once, I think, at the Austrian Grand Prix. Scored a lot of points there too. The Gags KK. I think he raced last season too as a reserve driver and currently filling in the Kickstarter team. Both Mercedes P7 and P8. The man who's leading the championship, by the way, is P7. And whilst there's a bit of lull on the circuit, I'll read you the championship standings. So it is Vlotchev Jr. who leads this championship with 83 points. And he's got 1 win to his name. Fireblaze is P2 as Georgie goes P5 in the Kickstarter. So decent qualifying performance there from the Kickstarter driver. As we see TikTok, unfortunately not on a flying lap there. He's 6 tenths down in the first sector as we go on board with Yoram. Now there's a bit of a quiet lull in this session, but I'll read the championship standings as well. So there's a bit of a little bit quiet going on here. So Fireblaze P2, 80 points behind. 80 points, sorry. He's 3 points behind Vlotchev Jr. And he's got 3 podiums. So Fireblaze and Aob have got 3 podiums each. They didn't score a podium at the back of the Hungarian Grand Prix due to their struggles and issues. Aob with no pace, and Fireblaze was caught up in that first lap incident. You know what? Fireblaze scored some decent points considering that there's no safety car, VSC, and he had damage on the first lap, which he had to change. So he was hoping for a safety car to come out, but unfortunately it didn't. Moen Nemo's P3 with 1 podium to his name in Hungary, so he scored his first podium back in Hungary, the last race. Adams P4. You know, Adams has been so consistent so far this season. 80 points back in the Austrian Grand Prix, and I think he finished in 4th or 5th back in Austria too, so really steady performance there from Adams. Chris, who scored the same results in the last 3 races out of 4, and Hungary as well, he scored some decent points. He finished P6 or P7, I think, back in the Hungarian Grand Prix. And so far, he's doing a really good job in terms of being consistent. Austria, I think he qualified P2. They just dropped backwards due to a lack of pace. So where is he right now, Chris? Chris is down to P16. So unfortunately for him, he's at the back with his teammates. But unlike his teammate, he could do something about it and put in a lap time. Dylan Vince has left the session, unfortunately. So he's fighting with his internet too. But Nico Rosberg's P6 in the championship. 2 podiums in the last 2 races. In Azerbaijan, he won. The Hungarian Grand Prix finished in P3. Mike 8th, he won back in the Austrian Grand Prix, but in Azerbaijan fell backwards too. And Dylan Vince is P7. I expected more from Dylan Vince because he was strong in the first race in Belgium. I think he made contact with somebody in Belgium too, but dropped down the field and didn't start back in the Hungarian Grand Prix or the Austrian Grand Prix, did Dylan. Yes, he was there back in Hungary, but there's no results showing that he was there in Hungary. I think the championship standards have been updated, so I think there's something needs to change to correct the standards. But here comes Jaram towards the line now. He goes. It's going to be a 80.1 and goes P5 ahead of Georgie. And let's see what Bruce is doing. 1/10 up in the first sector is Bruce in the McLaren as he now makes his way through the first Lesmo and the second Lesmo too. It's all about the exit he needs as well, trusting the rear end of the car to fly through the corner. But DRS wide open towards this back straight we go. Surprisingly, DRS is not really effective around this part of the track. We go underneath the banking, underneath the bridge before we fly through the sky. We go. Full speed, full commitment through here, and you need to absolutely send it through this corner as well to gain the maximum amount of lap time as we exit Sky right now. On towards the back straight we go, and all you're looking now to do is prepare yourself in towards Parabolica we go. Let's see how it takes it. Down through the gears we go, trust the rear of the car to stick with you and get the best exit you need as well before we go onto the main straight. What's lap time is this going to be from Bruce in the McLaren? It's going to be an 18.4 as he stays in P7. It's only improved by 300ths of a second there on his personal best. So not big improvement indeed, but qualifying is almost at its end. Let's see who's out there. We've got the Alpine making his way through the second chicane we go. Where's Fireblaze? Fireblaze is coming towards the end of the middle sector. Is this an improvement for Fireblaze? No, it's not. 3/4 of a second lost in the middle sector there for Fireblaze as he attacks the Scar. Look at the speed he's carried through there too, using every single part of the racetrack he can get away with too without a validator. Now headed towards the back straight we go. What can Fireblaze do in the final corner? Any more time to be found from the Red Bull driver who is seeking revenge and redemption after the last race. Here he is. Out of the final corner we go. What can he do as he makes his way towards the line? It's a 17.9. It's not enough to dethrone Kick from pole position. But look at the LP driver, Keat, who is on a flying lap. He's 1/10 up in this middle sector. Can he find more time? He goes very wide. Moen Nemo goes P2 in the McLaren. But here comes the LP driver. What can he do now? It's P2, he missed out on pole. And let's see if Kick improves. Kick is 1/10 up and he's validated in the middle sector as he crossed the line right now. Would have been a 17.6 for him. But Kick on pole position. Great form after winning the Hungarian Grand Prix. And Fireblaze, his championship rival, is down in P9. And unfortunately for him, cannot find any sorts of improvements for him. As 2 Mercedes drivers, P9 and P10, Fireblaze has got the advantage over his competitor in P9. That will see the qualifying session come to an end now. It is Kiko pole ahead of Kurt in P2, Moenima's P3 ahead of 5 layers, Yarl's P5 ahead of Jurgely, Chris in 7th place. Well, Chris has been in 7th majority of the time this season. That seems to be his favourite spot. Bruce is P8 ahead of Alessio Jr. and Dylan Vince is P10. Adams are on the top 2 with Gags. Kevin, the Swedenishman, in 13th place ahead of Zebra Gamer. Matty, TikTok Gamer and Nico Rassenberg in P17. What's going to happen in this race then? We've got a 27 lap race ahead of us tonight, and we could see some plenty of action going down to the field too. But Yarum, great job for him. I know he's been struggling this season, but he's stepped up once again, slowly but surely, just like in the last couple of seasons when he spun quite a lot. Then he finally picked up the results as he's winning and scoring podiums as well. So Yarum takes time to adapt and catch up to speed, but once he's there, he's there. This should be a one-stop strategy, but I think some drivers may struggle with that. But a two-stop is not really an option unless you have the pace to do so and a safety car comes out. On paper, Monza looks really easy on tyres because of all the straights, but the reality is the heavy braking zones in towards 1, 4 and Ascari are absolutely punishing the front tyres, while traction zones at the chicanes can overheat the rears as well if drivers are too aggressive on the throttle. Also, running a DRS trains mean you're often driving in dirty air and sliding more too, which means suddenly the tyre degradation could spike very quickly. If drivers push too hard in the first stint early, trying to break slipstream or defend aggressively, they could risk themselves into a two-stop strategy, and time management is going to be absolutely essential as well. And the one-stop versus two-stop risk and reward is going to be crucial as well. Qatar is such a time punishing circuit. It's unbelievable on tyre wear. I had to commentate a race around Qatar, and some people get pushed on lap 9 and turn 10. Lap 9 and lap 10. So I don't think that's going to happen here tonight. But even though there's a 10 corners or 11 corners on this circuit, it's still proven to be quite difficult indeed. And don't forget penalties too, because it's so easy to run out wide, especially in the first, second Lesmo and the chicane too. The chicane can catch a lot of people out too. We saw the contact between Vettel and Hamilton back in 2018 when Vettel got spun around after making contact with Hamilton, and Hamilton and Massa as well, or Alonso back in 2010 when those two made contact. I think Alonso went on to win the 2010 Monza Grand Prix for his first win Ferrari for Tifosi. And in 2011, I think it was Vettel. 2012, I think it was Hamilton ahead of Perez. But yeah, what a race for Perez that was as well, because Perez in the Sauber was a very handy midfield indeed. He scored 3 podiums that season: Malaysia, Monza, and Canada. And yeah, 2012 for me, Sergio Perez really stood out. And in 2013, he went to McLaren, but unfortunately things didn't work there for him either. But returned back to Force India in 2014 onwards, and now he's in the Cadillac, which is good news for him. Perez, of course, our veteran around in F1. He's still a great driver despite his Red Bull days downplaying his performance, but I hope for him and Bottas, Cadillac will be a good team. They may not be a good team at the start of the season due to development, but hopefully they will get better as the years go by. It's a long-term development, so don't expect Cadillac to be great at the start. Ferrari's last win around here was 2024 Charles Leclerc after doing a one-stop strategy which worked to perfection and beating Oscar Piastri as Oscar Piastri was hunting him down. It was a great win for Ferrari, unexpected too, after some disappointment in the last couple of races. But yeah, Leclerc did an amazing job to get that win ahead of Piastri. In 2019 as well, special race for Leclerc. Even though they had a illegal Ferrari-powered engine in the back of that car, Hamilton was hammering and pushing Leclerc all the way through, and Leclerc went on to win as well in 2019. I think Ferrari suffered a long drought. I don't think they won after 2010 until 2019, if I can remember correctly. I think Vettel tried, but Vettel only managed like P2, P3. 2015 as well. 2017, I think Vettel got back on the podium despite the wet conditions pushing him backwards. Both Red Bulls were second or third, I think, or third or fourth. Then they got pushed backwards due to penalties. Lawrence Stroll qualified P2, and Ocon was P3. I remember that day as well. Great qualifier for Stroll. Formation lap is on. It's amazing how much I can remember as well. 2000, I think, as well, when Ferrari dominated the Monza Grand Prix. Let's see the tyre strategies then for every single driver. It is the midi compound tyres, barring a few at the back of the field, which is Gags, Kevin, Zebra, and TikTok Gamer, who are on the hard compound tyres and looking to go for a long stint. So let's see if that pays dividends for their race or not. But we're about to see what happens in this Monza race. It's going to be a very interesting spectacle. Tyre management could be absolutely key as well in this race. Top 11 on the midi compound tyres from kick all the way down to Adams. But we'll see what happens going down towards turn 1. The inside line can be a preferred way to get past the drivers. I think Daniel Ricciardo back in Monza in 2021 got past, I think, was it Verstappen towards turn 1? I'm not quite sure, but we'll see. We've seen many battles before here and in turn 1. I think Monza certainly produces some good races in the past, except 2025, because that was a bit boring indeed. But guess where I was in 2025 to watch the Monza Grand Prix? I was in the Netherlands. Not to commentate, just to visit, but I was in Amsterdam. Oh, who's that in the background going for a spin there? The Racing Bull? You don't want to be doing that, mate, because your tyres will be dead before the race even started. Yes, with the hard compound tyres, but it will ruin your strategy early doors. The tyre wear, the formation lap does count as well. But yes, I remember watching the Monza Grand Prix in 2025 in the Netherlands, and unfortunately it wasn't that great. We were a bit bored. MotoGP was on as well at the Spanish Grand Prix. The Spanish Grand Prix and the Italian Grand Prix was on in MotoGP and F1 at the same time. I think it was Alex Marquez who won ahead of Marc Marquez. Then once MotoGP was done, we told the guys who worked there to switch it over to F1 immediately because it started after MotoGP finished. So what a day that was. It was very hot too in the Netherlands, about 25 degrees I think it was, or 30. And that was back in September. But here we go then. The lights about to go away on the board. 3, 4, 5 lights. And we get racing here at the Monza Grand Prix. It seems the Ferrari got a sluggish start off the line, and here comes the McLaren right behind as well. The side-by-side going down towards turn 1. Here comes Odin Rocker going down the inside. A kick in towards turn 1. Kick is trying to hold it on the outside. We get the inside line in towards turn 2. We go. And Kick maintains the lead of the Grand Prix. Great defending there from the Ferrari driver. Now the Alpine is under massive pressure from the McLaren behind. Here comes Moenimo, putting the pressure on the Alpine as we go through Curb Grande once again. In towards the chicane we go. And let's see if anybody's close enough to make a move. Moenimo is right to the back of the tail of that Ferrari as Fireblaze and Yarn going to scrap there. In towards the chicane we go. As Fireblaze maintains P4. The McLaren in the background off the track is Boost, who had a great start in qualifying, but unfortunately he's dropped backwards as we're going to see some more midfield mayhem there with Gaz KK fighting with Dylan Vins, but Dylan Vins has dropped back massively. The gap is 1.4 seconds there, so not a great start there from the Mercedes driver, who was defended from the Sauber and Zebra Gamer 2. But can he get himself back in DRS before it's activated? We've got Kevin and Adams going side by side in towards Scary, and Kevin has won in that battle. He puts himself into P11 in the nice shiny Racing Bull livery. I do love that livery, by the way, because it looks spectacular on the Racing Bull. But Adams is coming back, and he moves back up into P11 again. So nice comeback there from Adams. Of course, he's limited car part tie. Here comes Jursley down the inside. That's a nice move. He pulls himself into P12 ahead of Kevin. So Kevin may be struggling in those hardcore power times as expected. But look at Chris right behind as well. We've got the leaders fighting for first and second place. Here we go then. Here comes the RP side by side in towards turn one. Kick lays the brakes there. Will he go deep just a little bit but not too much? But look at Kurt trying to do the switchback. Under and over. Can he get the exit he needs? Fights with the rear. Yes, he does. The side by side then. Burning the battery, burning the fuel as well. On the throttle we go. Kevin Grande side by side between these two. And which driver will yield going down in towards the second chain? Neither driver willing to give up just yet, but Kurt has to maintain P2 for the time being very aggressive in this part of the race we go. And that's what we love to see. The Aston Martin of Chris gets out of shape there in the second chicane. He's up into P6, so he did overtake Roger Jr. And now he's in P6. That's great news for him as well. I think Chris will drive getting better and better as the races progresses by. You can see him how well he's doing so far this season, scoring consistent points and finishing the same position 3 times in a row. And I think he finished in P7 back in the Hungarian Grand Prix, so he has really stepped up the season. He was in P2 back in Austria, but unfortunately the pace wasn't there as he dropped backwards and sustained a penalty as well. But he's getting better. It's nice to see Chris developing as a driver and doing super well, but there's a long way ahead of us as well, so time management is going to be key. Battery's going to be manageable as well. The pace is going to be consistent and fluent as well. But here we go on the main straight once again with the DRS wide open. Let's see if the RP driver pursues first place. Here he is with the DRS wide open, and this time it is much easier. We're going side by side, but Kurt now inherits the lead of this Grand Prix for the first time. 2 attempts failed, but they say the third time lucky, and definitely the third time lucky as well. He is running quite low on the battery, so he was desperate and eager to get past Kick at the main stage of the Grand Prix. And he wants to put his foot down to get first place, which he has done, but now he's got to be defended for the whole race because it's so difficult to break out somebody's DRS. So he's got to be the one to defend from Kick and Moenima behind. He went for track position. First place is the best place to be, of course, because you're outside the dirty air and the engine is overheated as well. The big problem here is engines overheat quite massively as well, so you can be very careful because you do lose power down the straight, as TikTok Gamer, who's left the session, who's gone down in P17. We haven't even spoken about Nico Rosberg, but there he is in P10, always a threat, and he could be an imminent threat later on in the Grand Prix, so watch out for him as he climbs his way up the ladder. But as you can see, their Kick is holding to the back of the RP driver, so even though he's in P2, he's happy to sit there in P2 and play the long game in this race. As we see Kick there sliding as well, the rear tyres are screaming for help as now Moenima is applying pressure on the Ferrari driver, so struggling going through a Ascari there, Parabolica, even though it's not called Parabolica, no, I don't know what it's called. But here comes Moenima on the prowl, on the attack as we head down towards Tier 1. But Kick used the battery to defend against the McLaren driver as well, as Chris is right behind Yarwam going in towards 1 and 2 we go. Sitting patiently behind the Haas driver, but waiting for any sort of opportunity or chance to get past him if he can. But it's a bit difficult overtaking in the midfield because, of course, you're following the DRS train, and therefore every single driver ahead of you can the same speed with the DRS wide open. So no disadvantage, no advantage, just the same speed down the straight as we now make our way through the second chicane once again in this race. Adams and Kevin going in battle once again. Adams cuts across the chicane, and Kevin takes away P12 there again. Those two in a battle the first half of the Grand Prix. It seems Kevin has got a pass once again of Adams, and Adams drops into P13. But we can see Kick is right behind us. No way sure he's going for a move down here. Nope, he's just making Kurt know he's aware and feeling the pressure behind Kick as well. Trying to force Kurt into an unforced error if he can. But you can see the RP driver is just trying to break the slipstream, but it won't be effective at this part of the Grand Prix as we head down towards Parabolica once again. All the drivers in formation and an attack as well if they can. DRS will be enabled once again heading down the main straight. We know that track position is absolutely key around here too. You can see Nico Rosberg struggling to overtake drivers even though he's got a massive pace advantage. And here comes Kick. Will he take the lead in towards Tier 1? Yes, he will. He goes side by side. The RP driver lets off the brakes later as Kick now trying to do the under and over. Let's see if he gets a better exit. Nope. Struggles with wheel spin there as he has to set off a P2. Dylan and Nico Rosberg are fighting over P8. Nico Rosberg overtook Gags on the last lap. And here comes Nico right behind the Belgian driver of Dylan Rince. We're going side by side once again. I think Kick has taken into the Grand Prix. He has. Kick is up into first place, so apologies about that. I wasn't expecting him to make a move going down in towards the second chicane. And we see that somebody is dropped down the order. Chris has dropped down the order. He's had a spin in the second chicane, unfortunately, and Nico Rosberg has overtaken Dylan Vince. manual gearbox. I think many people in this race are running manual gearbox, and you can run automatic if you want, but I think people in this league are running manual. We fly through Ascari once again then, with Kick in the lead ahead of the RP driver, the Norwegian in P2, Moenima, the Brit in P3 ahead of Fireblaze, and Joram sitting pretty in P5. Nico Rassenberg's up into P7, so he'll be a threat in this race. He's on the midi-car powered tyres, so learn from his mistake back at the Hungarian Grand Prix when it went to the hardcore powered tyres. As the DRS once again opens up for Lochev Jr. and Joram swap places. Joram is in the pit lane. That's a very early stop indeed. Here comes the RP side by side once again as these two are trading the lead as Kurt moves himself up into P1 ahead of Kick. So Joram in the pit lane already. I presume doing medium hard, if I'm not mistaken. There we go. It is the hardcore powered tyres being attached towards the Haas car, as once again these two are super close. They're going at it on the whole race, and Kick is right behind the Alpine. This time chooses to go around the outside. It's a risky move going around the outside, and he doesn't want to do that, but we can see the Alpine driver getting all out of shape in the second chicane, and he was put offline, so he didn't get the best exit he needed as Kick managed to stay in P2. We've got some gaps opened up in the midfield as well. Velocio Jr. has lost the DRS towards Fireblaze as well. His main championship contender with Fireblaze putting pressure on Nico Rassenberg in front of us. But here goes the Alpine of Roy once again. It's a great battle between the top two. Nice and respectful. They traded DRS at the right part at the right time as well, of these two. But in the first stage of the Grand Prix, depending on what strategy you're on, you don't necessarily want to fight too hard to burn out the tyres. You want to keep them alive as much as you can in the first stint to try and prolong your first stint to try and get the best tyre weight towards the end. And if you're doing a two-star strategy, it could be a different story, as Kick is in the pit lane, Fireblaze in the pit lane too. This could be a two-star because 20 laps on the hardcore powered tyres is a mighty long way to go if it is a one-star strategy. Here comes Nico Rassenberg side by side with Veloci as he puts himself up into P3 now ahead of the Belgian driver going through turn one we go. Tyre wear is higher than expected, and when I raced around here in Monza, I just managed to do a one-stop strategy, but I did suffer with mighty tyre wear towards the end, 90% or 92%. So the tyre wear proven to be high, and some drivers are opted to go for a two-star strategy. How many categories are there? There is 3 categories. There's 3 divisions, so division 1, 2 and 3. As Nico Rassenberg dips a wheel in the grass there, but no further damage done. He's out of the DRS range of Moenima Kurt. So I wonder if the top 2 are going to respond to Kick and Fireblaze. We know the undercut is massive and powerful around here, so let's see if the top 2 do decide to respond towards Kick and Nico Rassenberg. Fireblaze has been undercutted, by the way, so he's down to P16. Yarm's got past him, so Yarm's pit stop at 1 lap earlier, has paid dividends for him. He's gained 1 place in the expense of Fireblaze. He's moved up into P15 and looking good so far. He was the one that triggered the pit stops, and I wonder if anybody else will be following soon. Here we go once again, out of the final corner. Is anybody looking to pit on this lap? Nope, they decided to continue one more time in this race. And let's see if these guys are decided to do a one-stop strategy. If you're going to do a two-stop, you might as well do it now because you don't want to waste too much time if you're going to do a two-stop on the old set of tyres. Two-stops, all about pure pace. Absolutely taking everything on the tyres. Well, so one-stop strategy is management in the first part, then pushing towards the second part as well. So this could indicate that the guys at the top of the field might be doing a one-stop strategy. We've got some action in the midfield here too with the McLaren and Adam swapping places. Oh, looks like Adam's got damage there, so he sustained damage somewhere on the back of somebody. It could be with Kevin. He was fighting quite aggressive. He bumped over the curbs as well, and I think he might have lost his wing that way too. So unfortunately for him, he has got some wing damage around here, Monza. It's not going to do any favours, especially in the first and second Lesmer. But look at this Gags KK now. Got some brilliant pace. He's on the hardcore powered tyres, of course. So his hardcore powered tyres are starting to shape up now. And he's feeling the grip as well. DRS open for him, but will he go for it on this straight? He won't. He'll probably wait patiently and go for it on the main straight in towards turn 1. So my indication is now that I think the top 5 are probably looking to do a one-stop strategy, and we'll see if that works in their favour. I think the guys at the back of the field are doing medium hard because the midi-car powered tyres is not particularly a great tyre. These guys want to get staying out, so they must be doing a one-stop strategy, except except Veloci Jr., who pulls into the pit lane then to get off his midi-car powered tyres. Here we go, DRS wide open, Nico Rassenberg at the back of Moenima. Moenima goes defensive, but he doesn't need to because Nico Rassenberg wasn't close enough on that occasion to make a move. But he's certainly closing in on the top two. He's got some mighty pace. Nico Rosberg attempting to go from last to first in this race. He's right behind second place right now. He's using the battery to get closer and closer towards Mo and Nemo as we head down towards the second chicane again. Nico Rosberg's too far back to attempt to move going towards the second chicane we go. Where is Ayob going to be joined? Behind Fireblades. Look at that. 4.6 seconds. Remember, he was in the train of Fireblades and Yoram, but that undercut was very powerful indeed as those two move up the order. So we definitely know that top three, when they pit on the hard compound tyres, they're going to be undercutted by Fireblades, Kick and Yoram. But the question is, though, will those guys who are possibly doing a two-stop strategy go to catch up towards the end of Kurtz, Moenimo and Nico Rosberg? Because I don't think these guys, sure or not, are going to do a two-stop strategy, the guys in first, second and third. Do they have the ability, the tools to go to the end of the hardcore part tyres? I'm not quite sure. We've got a mixture of strategies going on, but we'll see which strategy is the best towards the end of this race. Anybody pitting? Yes, there is. Nico Rosberg, Moenimo is now in the pit lane to dispose of his midi compound tyres and switch over to the hard compound tyres now. Look at Nico Rosberg, straight line speed, 350 km an hour, going down towards the main straight too. I remember the speed used to be about 365 km an hour down the main straight, especially with 2016 cars when they had less aero and more straight line speed. The Mercedes power cars especially as well, as we see Kevin, the two racing bulls going side by side. Kevin versus Zebra Gaming. Kevin, I think, defends from his teammate behind. Adams has been overtaken by Kick, his Ferrari teammate, and now his Ferrari teammate's under pressure from Yarn by behind. It's very important though that these two get past Yarn quickly. If they don't, they can lose time towards Kick, and that could be major critical through this race as well. But unfortunately, on this occasion, Yarn was not able to get past him, so that's great there from Kick to get past his teammate at the right part of the right track. Sometimes that's the risk you take as well. Pitting early, look at the time he's losing, so much time. The gap is 1.6 seconds as well between Kick and Adams, but surely with DRS wide open now, Yoram and Fireblaze will follow through very quickly and get past. Here comes one of them. Here comes the second driver too. Fireblaze doesn't want to be hanging around behind Adams any longer, but he can't get past him on that occasion as he goes through Ascari right now. Fireblaze on those better hardcore powered tyres though, looking for a way to get past the Ferrari driver if he can. Needs to make this move very quickly as the top two are in the pit lane at the end of this lap. Here we go. It is the hardcore powered tyres attached to their cars, and I think these two are looking at the possibility of going towards the end. There's the Mercedes coming into pit as well. It is Dylan Vince who's pitting on this lap. The Harvard starters now leading this Grand Prix, kicking P3 on the new hardcore powered tyre, closing down the top two as Fireblaze has got past Adams, I think. Yes, he has. He puts them into P5. Where's Nico Rosberg and Kirk going to rejoin? There they are in P8 and P9 as Nico Rosberg follows the Alpine on the pit lane, goes through turn 1 and turn 2. So let's see then, the one sort of strategy versus the two. Which strategy is going to be better? I'm not quite sure. We're about to find out later on in the Grand Prix. Nico Rosberg immediately taking, I say, the net leader of the Grand Prix, up into P8 ahead of Kurt, the two former race leaders, and now swap places as Nico Rosberg now goes up into P8 ahead of the RP driver, who struggles with Ascari, by the way, as well. Not Ascari, the Delaware chicane. I think the RP driver may struggle because sometimes when you exit the pit lane, the grip is not fully there as the tyres need to warm up and get into optimum working window as well. So you don't want to be pushing too hard on those hardcore powered tyres in the middle of the pit lane. That's what I struggle to do as well, because sometimes when you exit the pit lane, you want to push as hard as you can, but unfortunately the grip is not there. So you've got to bide your time and wait as well. Here comes Kick on the back of Zebra Game. It should be easy pickings considering the tyre difference. And he's going to go around the outside in towards Parabolica. Gets past him easily and has the DRS wide open, but Fireblaze is behind Yoram too. These two have lost Kick. Kick is pulled away, has built an advantage. He's bridged the gap over Yoram and Fireblaze too for good measure. So that's really good news. And here comes Fireblaze down the inside in towards turn 1, but not on this occasion. Probably trying to force Yoram into a lock-up, a mistake, but Yoram does have a massive slide out of turn 2. As we see the Alpine and Aston Martin go side by side through turn 2 we go. There's just about enough space given between those two. As the Aston Martin then gets ahead, Nico Rosberg moving left and right there. I think he's telling them to work together because they're on a completely different strategy. So, yeah, I don't think fighting in the first two corners is going to work, but he's let him go. I'm not quite sure why there. Did Nico Rosberg do anything wrong? I'm not quite sure. Did he feel like he gave I'm not quite sure, to be honest with you. It looked like he was fair enough, you know. Wasn't too aggressive. Yes, they made contact, but minor contact. That's what's going to happen through Terminator 2. Do you remember Massa and Webber? Oh, contact there between those two. Giorgio Lee versus Kevin. Around the outside goes the kick Saber. Nice move there, but not done just yet because there's the RB still on the inside, but this time he gets the move done. But do you remember Mark Webber versus Felipe Massa back in 2010 or 11? When Webber made contact with Massa and lost his wing down towards Parabolica. And that can happen as well, contact down towards turn 2, because it's such a tight corner and you just want to give enough space. As for Verstappen and Hamilton, as Zebra Gamer is in the pit lane at the end of the lap, there's been plenty of occasions where contact's been made in the first few corners in this race as well. Kick is right behind Gags KK, so the two of them going to be involved in the battle very soon. As Fireblaze is still applying the pressure of Joram as Nico Rosberg gets past the RP driver. The Alpine has got a 3-second type 10-second penalty. I missed that. What happened? What happened to the Alpine? Did he speed in the pit lane? Let's have a look right now. I think he sped in the pit lane. Didn't see it. I don't know why I didn't see it. So we had a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. What a shocker. What a race killer for him as well. Unlucky towards Kurt there. It's so easily done to pick up a 10-second penalty, and Kick has got past Gags as well for first place. But yeah, what a shame for Kurt in P8, and that's the small decisions make huge consequences for the race as well. Something like that will ultimately destroy a race, and what a shame for him indeed. That's a 10-second penalty is so harsh as well. It really destroys your race, even a 5-second penalty. But unfortunately, that's the consequences you pay for speeding the pit lane. He's got to deal with it now for the rest of the race. What's the gap for the leader between Kick and Nico? 9.7 seconds in this race as well. So when Kick decides to pit once again, we'll see if he can hunt down as Fireblaze gets past Yoram, goes up into P3, and Moe Nemo and Vulture Jr. swap places. Nico Rosberg has caught up to them. Nico Rosberg's not too far away from those guys. Why is AO ghosted for? Oh, he's left the session. He's gone. He has lagged out of the session, and Nico Rosberg is happy. That's an easy move. As we see the RP driver go past as well, up into P7. Nico Rosberg looking for a race win, his third win of the season. We'll see if he can do it or not. In fact, his first win, second race of the season, in fact, yeah. Certainly interesting though, how the strategy is going to play into effect later on in the Grand Prix when it's a one-stop or two-stop. He's back in the session, so luckily he is. But that's going to be huge for the championship because Fireblaze is only 3 points behind in the championship as well. So that's really not good news there for the Mercedes driver. He's going to lose the championship lead if things stay like this, as Fireblaze will go up into P1 to claim the championship. He's 1.2 seconds behind Gags. Do you know what? Gags is doing a really good job so far in P2 on them old hardcore power tyres, but his second place will be short-lived after Fireblaze and Yoram will probably make their way through easily. Here we go, side by side between those two. Yoram goes up into P3 ahead of Fireblaze. I wonder, as Nico Rosberg, oh, you can see Moe Nemo defending for his life there against the LP driver. He didn't want to be overtaken by somebody's penalty and be dropped down 2 places as well. So Moe Nemo falls into P6 and cuts across the front wing of the RP driver as well for good measure. But here comes the RP in a curve right behind him once again. You can see both of them have drained the EOS to 0% as Moe Nemo stays ahead for the time being, going through the second chicane we go. So Chris, do you know what? Chris has done a good job too. He spun, I think, out of the second chicane and he's up into P9 inside the top. So what am I doing? There we go. I was trying to find the marker there, but here we go. Chris in P9 doing a good job so far, considering his only mistake in the race. He hasn't faced him at all, and he's still going in P9, still pushing on to see what kind of points he can gain. Dylan Vince is quite far behind too in P10. As we've got Yoram right behind Gags, he gets past him on going down towards Parabolica, side by side. Oh, contact is made. Gags is in a spin, and Yoram tries to go around the outside there, but he cut across the front wheel of Gags KK, who's now in the pit lane. What a shame for him there as well. He'll be happy about that one indeed, as Nico Rosberg is flying on those hardcore power tyres. Fireblaze goes up into P2 now ahead of Yarum. Nico Rosberg is only 2.6 seconds behind. When are these two going to pit as well to get off the hardcore pod tires? I don't think the two-stop is going to work in this race for those. I'm quite unsure if a two-stop strategy is going to work in this race as well, because they've got to make up a massive deficit towards the end. It could be a tall order towards the end of this race if the guys in a two-stop surely going to pit as well, because those tyres are going to be taking over 20 laps. And plus, Nico Rosberg is on a charge as well. Can the hardcore pod tyres go to the end? Fireblaze, Yarum and Nick kick? I'm not quite sure. To be honest, 21 laps on the hardcore pod tyres is a long way in a race stint on those hards, but we'll see if they can manage it or not. We'll see who's made the right choice towards the end of this race. I know in Monza that the one-stop strategy is a little bit better, because the two stops just waste a lot of time as well. Plus, you've got to make up a massive deficit towards the end. But if they're going to do a two-stop strategy, would they pit now? Because they're running out of time and laps. We'll see if... Yes, Kick is in the pit lane. Kick is in the pit lane then to get rid of his hardcore pod tyres. Fireblaze is coming in too. Yarum staying out there as well. So Nico Rosberg will move up into second place. And it's a big charge towards in the Grand Prix with Kick and Fireblaze. I did say to Kick and Fireblaze that the one-stop strategy is possibly better. It depends though if you manage your tyres really nicely as well. Or Yarum has a massive wheel spin moment out of turn 2 there as well for good measure as he put the power down. But the car's rear tyres are starting to fade away slowly but surely as he's gradually losing grip on those hardcore pod tyres. There's 10 laps left to go. And the chase is on between Kick and Nico Rosberg. And we'll see who's got the best strategy towards the end. Kick, look at that. It's a massive gap to make up. Under 17 seconds. That's a massive gap in 10 laps. He needs about, what? 2-3 seconds a lap? Definitely for sure. With 10 laps left to go, I don't know if he's going to make it or not, you know. It's going to be a massive risk and tall order for him to get past there. Same with Fireblaze on the P12. Fireblaze 22 seconds behind as well, so it's going to be a massive ask as well for those guys to close in. They have the grip on those hardcore pod tyres, but they're a long way behind, and there's only 10 laps left to go in this race, so I don't think that Kick is going to make it to try and get Nico Rosberg as Yarum decides to pit as well. So Nico Rosberg started in last place, 17th place, and he's up into first place now. He takes the lead of the Grand Prix for the first time in this race, but he knows the task is not done just yet. Chris up into P4 as well. Great race with Chris to get back into P4. He's overtaking Ayoub as well. So Kick is moved up. Look at this battle. 4-way battle for 8th place there. Or 9th place, should I say. We've got Kevin defending from Gergely and Fireblaze too. Fireblaze is in a peculiar spot. He doesn't want to be in this sort of position to be stuck behind these two on older tyres. He needs to get past these two quickly. He's down the inside as contact is made. He's lost his end plates. Fireblaze, I think he's lost his end plates. He has. Oh my dear, it goes from bad to worse for Fireblaze. Tries to go down the inside. The Racing Bull driver did not give up as he gets past Kevin once again. Or Gergely. As Fireblaze there has to start in P10, so it's not going well at all for the Dutchman in P10. You know what? Kick, the gap was 17 seconds, that was 14 seconds, so he's gained 3 seconds in about 2 laps. So not too bad there progress from Kick in P7, but he needs to keep on pulling these qualifying laps till the end of the race to try and catch Nico Rosberg. Is a podium on for Kick? I'm not quite sure, to be honest with you, but here comes Gergely side by side with Kevin. And he goes up into P8. Not yet though, because the Racing Bull side by side there. And here comes Fireblaze. Has to stop on the brakes there. And he gets past one of them. But he gets past both of them. Here comes Yarum too. But look at this. The Racing Bull using his battery. Trying to stay ahead of the Red Bull. As we head down in towards Parabolica. Yarum's involved as well. There's a spinner in the background. As Fireblaze and Yarum get past Kevin. For P9 and P10 finally get past him. Those two are wasting so much time behind these slow-running cars on the older hardcore pod tyres, but Fireblaze gets past the Kick Sauber. Here comes Yarum too, he gets past the Kick Sauber, and he's now on the back of Fireblaze heading down in towards turn 1 we go. But Yarum's too far back to make any sort of lunge, and look at these guys fighting. Racing Bulls, the Kick Saubers are involved as well, as they go side by side, both of them fighting their teammates. But Yarum as well as the back of Fireblaze heading through Curb Grande right now. Will he make a move going down in towards the second chicane? He won't do so on this occasion. But these two, or these four, are still fighting aggressively. The Sauber Racing Bulls all in the battle for P10 in this race. But Jursley remains ahead of Kevin, Gags and Zebra for the time being, but Jursley's tyres are older in comparison towards Kevin's, Gags and Zebra Gaming on the hard medium compound tyre, as Zebra Gaming gets a 3-second penalty in this race. Oh, Racing Bull's lost it, he's in a spin! And that's Kevin who goes for a spin. At the exit of the second chicane he goes. Kevin Magnussen, Franco Colapinto as well have lost it there in the past. So Kick, the gap is 13 seconds. He's way too far behind to make a move. Surely he can't get it back up there. Even a podium might not be possible for Kick in P7. So that two-stop strategy was a blunder call, unfortunately for those guys. And the one-stop strategy is the way to go, because the two-stop, you risk being stuck in traffic as well and lose a lot of time in the pits. It's just, on paper, Monza, it looks like it's an easy track with 10 corners, but unfortunately the reality is it's a brutal circuit on tyre wear, so you got to be really manageable in the first stint. So yeah, what a shame for those guys. So the gap is 12.8. Behind the Levids is Kick in the Ferrari, the pole sitter in this race, but unfortunately it's not gone good for him after committing to a two-stop strategy. Lost a lot of time in the pack. He's right behind the Levids right now, and we'll see. I think, you know what, Chris could get a podium, because Kurt has got a 10-second penalty, but Veloci Jr. is right behind too in P5. Can Chris get that podium? Do you know what, despite his troubles in the other part of the Grand Prix, despite spinning in the second chicane, he's done a mighty job to make his comeback to the field. As Dylan Vince has been overtaken by Kick as well for good measure, goes up into P6 now, does the Ferrari drive. The two ahead of him are Ayub and Chris. I think it's possible for Kick to catch those two, but I think Moenima's too far away, as Ayub has taken P4 away. Oh, Chris is pitted. Chris is in the pit lane. That's 12.5 hardcore power tyres as well. Do you know what? That's such a late pit stop. There's only about 6 laps left to go in this race, and that is a very late pit stop indeed. He's on the medium compound tyres, so I don't think he felt that the hardcore power tyres could go towards the end. So yeah, what a shame for Chris down there. He did spin, didn't he? But I'm not quite sure which tyre it was on, the first or the second stint. So he's rejoining P11 on new tyres, but he has only 6 laps left to go to try and hunt down some valuable points. He's rejoining P12, behind that battle between the Racer Bulls and the Saubers as well. But for Yarman Fireblaze, it's not gone well. Maybe Veloci Jr. will score points and extend his championship lead over Fireblaze in P8. So Fireblaze's strategy in this race has cost him dearly. And he's behind Yarm too for good measure. Yarm on the medium power tyres as well, so Fireblaze may get Yarm due to the tyre difference in this race. Moenimo is now caught up to Kurt. Nico Rosberg has been left alone in this race, and surely he could be on course to win this Grand Prix to get his second win of the season. He tried to do a last to first in the last race of Hungary, but it didn't quite pay dividends for him as he got caught up on old tyres towards the end. What an amazing job Nico Rosberg has done in this race. What a drive. Some stunning lap times indeed. Amazing overtaking and great time management too for good measure. He's done such a good job in this race as Nico Rosberg go from last to first. Kick is 4 seconds away from Ayub and Moenimo. That's his main target now. It is Ayub. I don't think he'll get Moenimo because Moenimo is too far ahead to try and catch. So I think Kick's best option now is P4. And I think he'll be very disappointed considering he had the race lead in his hands. Fireblaze goes up into P7. Dylan Vince has left the session again, unfortunately in P6 there. But what a drive this man has done so far in this race. Started in P17, up into first place. And he's about to get his second win of the season. Is Nico Rosberg. Every time he shows up, he always delivers an impressive performance, does the German driver. This is his third appearance here in SFR this season. He won back in Baku, he scored a podium back in Hungary, and once again he'll get a win here at the Monza Grand Prix if things should go his way, which it should. I don't think anything can go wrong for him unless safety car comes out, which shouldn't bother him at all in this race. The two Saubers there swapping places for P8 and P9. Gags on a new and medium compound tyres inside the top 10, scoring some valuable points, but he's got Chris right behind him too. Chris on a new and medium compound tyres should dispose these two with ease, but he's stuck behind both Saubers as we head down towards Parabolic. Here we go once again. Sauber trade places, but here comes Chris, gets past one Sauber. There's contact between the other Sauber, but I don't think Chris has the DRS. Chris doesn't have the DRS there. The two Saubers behind him has the DRS, so he didn't calculate his timing right, as they both get past him once again. That's just bad timing there for Chris, unlucky timing for him, but he should be able to get past these two once the DRS comes around once again. Here comes Chris now side by side with Gergely. There's a Red Bull has spun, I think Racing Bull has spun, as we go wheel to wheel, but the Sauber is not giving up just yet. But look at the state of those Sauber's tyres. They're graining as well as we head down towards the second chicane once again. Chris trying to go around the outside. There's no space. They tag wheels. They both go over the curve there. As Chris once again tries to make a move. But unfortunately, kick Sauber. It's not giving up. He's getting his elbows out of this race. Good for him. But Chris will not be happy about this. But this time, Chris surely has the DRS and get past him this time. Which he does do. Side by side, Kevin has retired in this race. Matty gets a penalty as well. As now Chris moves up into P9. The next target is the other Sauber of Gags KK. Should be easy on those mini compound tyres. I think Chris had some concern about his tyre wear, didn't he, towards the end of the race. That's probably why he went on a new set of mini compound tyres. Probably thought those hard couldn't go towards the end of the race. But here he is with the DRS wide open once again on the back of the kick Sauber. There's yellow flags there. Yellow flags are there. But I think they've now gone green flags. Chris overtakes Gags. He puts himself up into P8. And he did that whilst the yellow flags were out. But I think they went to green flags once again. And now Kick has caught up to A up of P4. I think Moenimo's too far away. Moenimo once again will claim another podium. What a great drive. Under the radar race there for Moenimo P3, but solid drive once again and scoring more points. It'll be his second podium of the season as Kick overtakes A up. Sorry about the short break there, but we continue back on board with Moenimo now on the back of Kurt. But he knows he doesn't have to fight him or waste time with him because he knows that Ames on the kicks on the charge. So I think Moenimo's playing a smart game here, but he will get a podium either way because Kurt does have a 10-second penalty. So he plays smart, doesn't want to fight him, knows that he doesn't have to fight with the Alpine in front of him. So he's just keeping tabs with him, keeping the DRS of him, and not being too aggressive in this race. We've had one retirement so far in this race, which is Kevin, who retired a lap ago. Oh, puncher for Gergely. That's 60-lap-old hard compound tyres. So he has now got a puncher in this race. That is 60-lap-old hard compound tyres. He's been fighting very aggressively in this race as well. So there could be some signs of punches along the way as he spins around as well for good measure. Moenimo has the DRS at the back of Kurt, but doesn't really have the overspeed on him despite having the DRS at the back of him. But the Sauber's retired from this race. No safety car either on this occasion. He is out of the race, unfortunately, after getting a puncher. You know what? Moenimo could be in trouble because his tyres are 16-lap-old. So watch out for him as well. He could be in trouble towards the end, but hopefully he's been very, very delicate and treats his tyres very nicely too in this race. I think some drivers have to be very careful as well because they could be on the verge and risk getting a puncher in this race. That's the strategy gamble you have to pay as well, the one-stop versus two-stop risk and reward. And it looks like these guys decided to take the risk by doing a one-stop strategy, but also having the pace and managing the tyres as well Managed to tie profoundly in this race, and they're doing a good job as well. But there is one more lap left to go in this race, and Moenimo is trying to set up the LP drive of Kurt, try to get P2. Let's see if he can make the overtake happen down towards turn 1. DRS wide open. Can he get... Look at the overspeed. Look at the DRS speed. He doesn't have any sort of straight line speed. He doesn't. He can't get past him despite having the DRS wide open. The LP must have some straight line speed in that car. But I think all eyes goes towards this man, Nico Rosberg, the young German driver from the very back of the grid to the front where it mattered the most. This has been an absolute masterclass drive from Nico Rosberg. As we see Moenimo right behind once again in towards the second chicane, but he can't make a move just yet, as the Alpine is struggling with his tyres there through the corners, so maybe haven't got the downforce to the corners. But back on board with Nico Rosberg from the very back of the grid to the very front now. This has been an absolute masterclass drive from Nico Rosberg, as now the final lap begins. He is moments away from completing one of the most smartest and most controlled victories you'll see all season long. Choosing to start last, committed to a watchdog strategy, and managed those tyres to perfection whilst others pushed too hard and fell into a two-stop race. This is absolute elite racecraft. When the field battled for and lost track position, Nico Rosberg stayed patient, and here he is to the final corners. 3 podiums in a row, and this race will be a very impressive one for him indeed. Nico Rosberg is about to cross the line to win the Monza Grand Prix. What an absolute drive from him as well. As Kit gets back on the podium in P3, as Moenimo's P2, but what an absolute drive from Nico Rosberg. His second win of the season, 3rd podium in a row. He's an absolute charge. The momentum is shifting forwards in his championship aspirations. Nico Rosberg has stepped up once again and has taken a sensational victory around here in Monza, and he'll be absolutely delighted and pleased with his performance tonight, because that was an absolute stellar performance for him. He's just very, very efficient when it comes to tyre saving, managing to pace as well, and driving beautifully in this race. He's done an absolute exceptional job as Nico Rosberg, and he should be very happy indeed. Fireblaze has lost the championship points as well. Now, Velocity of Gino gained about 2 or 3 more points in the championship, and these are crucial points. Fireblaze is losing, just like back in Hungary, but Hungary wasn't really his fault. But here in Monza, he will lose points once again, as AO will extend his championship lead. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching the stream. It's been an absolute pleasure. I will go because my voice has completely gone in this race as well. So I didn't drink any water tonight, and I wasn't prepared either. So I apologise about that one, but my voice is gone, so I don't want to be doing any podium interviews. But Nico Rosberg, 70s to first, no safety cars involved. What are you going to say? Even fastest lap as well. What a mega drive, Nico Rosberg. Fully deserved, and he should be a happy German driver indeed. And I'll see you all later. Goodbye for now. It's been an absolute pleasure to commentate with these 70 drivers in the lobby. And I'll see you all for the Mexican Grand Prix next Wednesday at 7:30 UK time. And goodbye for now. See you all later. Chris, once again, P7. He must be obsessed with P7. Is Chris in the Aston Martin? Guys, KK, what a great performance for him as well to finish in P9. And look at that, Kurt in P5 as well on his debut for SFR. Not bad, but unfortunately did pick up that penalty. And those could be a race-defining moment as well by picking up penalties in the race, which will cost you dearly. So hopefully, if he does stick around, he can try and deliver some good performances in the next couple of races. There's a long championship season to go, 17 races, and still a long way to go. We are in the early parts of this championship, but we move on to round 6 in Mexico in the next race. See you all later. Goodbye for now, and take care. Love you.